Hello everyone and welcome to another game I played on Ptcgo. For this match I'm going to be playing Beedrill and Reuniclus here and along with Cresselia. So the strategy is to set up Beedrill because its attack does more damage when it's not damaged. Then you just set up Reuniclus as well and switch damage onto Cresselia, which heals itself in between turns, and then you just trap your opponent by poisoning, confusing them, and doing more damage. So here we're actually going to start off with a few mulligans, and if you've noticed yet, the video is actually sped up a bit more in some spaces because of the abilities in play and because this match originally ran for half an hour. So I'm going to start off with Sableye. My opponent reveals here a Cobalion. I'm going to Ultra Ball here for a Weedle, play it down, and here I'm just going to Juniper, I think, and that's exactly what I do. I, for whatever reason, attached the blend energy, sort of forgetting that Cobalion will just remove it and I'm not going to be able to attack. So that was pretty pointless and dumb. So my opponent will attach a energy onto Cobalion. If he Righteous Edges right now, which why wouldn't he? He'll just remove the energy I played. But first we'll see a Skyla here. Not sure what it's going for. Looks like it goes for an Ultra Ball. And we're waiting to see what he's going to get with that Ultra Ball. And it looks like from the mulligans that he's playing Klingklang Cobalion, and he goes for a Klink, although it really won't garner him an advantage in this match. So he's going to discard that energy I just played. Here I'm going to play another Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Grass and a Skyla. To bring up Beedrill, I do have that rare candy in hand, so I can at least set up. Leaving Sableye up as a sacrifice, I will attach a Grass energy onto Beedrill and then just Juniper. I got Solosis and Weedle, I will play them, and a Silver Bangle that I can attach to Beedrill. And here I'm just going to play a Level Ball to thin out my deck and get something else into play. I think Weedle's the best bet here, and I'll just bench it. So going into my opponent's turn, he can try to set up Klingklang, but I don't know what good that'll do. But then here I actually see he puts down a Dusknoir, and that's a little bit ironic here. And he plays a Chorus, evolves Klink into Klang, plays an energy onto his bench, and essentially we're both going to be able to manipulate my damage, which is kind of funny. We see a Hypnotoxic Laser, which is enough to knock me out after damage, and my opponent takes the first prize. I'm going to send a Beedrill and play N. I get a Cresselia here. I still don't have Reuniclus out in play, but I'll be able to Swift Sting, and my opponent is poisoned and confused here, and because of the Silver Bangle I can do 90 damage. My opponent now attaches to the benched Cobalion. Here I'm really worried about his bench Dusknoir evolving into Dusknoir. I want to get rid of that if I can. We see an N get played, and a Floatstone on Cobalion allows him to retreat into a fresh one. Here I'm going to evolve into Kakuna, and then evolve my other Weedle into Beedrill. I'll attach here a Silver Bangle onto it, and a Grass energy onto Kakuna, and here I can just actually retreat into my fresh Beedrill and Swift Sting again for 90, poisoning and confusing my opponent. So if I can hit either Cobalion one more time without taking damage, I will knock them out. But it looks like he's going to attach a third energy, then switch into the Cobalion with Floatstone, and just hit me for 30, also discarding my energy in the process since I did attach a blend to that. And I would play blend for Sableye really. Here I got a Grass energy, which I can attach. I think I will go for the active one, although I'm debating also playing an Escape Rope and seeing what he'll drag out. But I'm not sure if it'll go my way, so I'm just going to retreat into my bench Cobalion, attach a Grass energy to the one I just sent to the bench, and hit him for 50. So since I don't have full health, I can't hit him for the knockout. But if I get a supporter, I do also run Max Potion and Gold Potion in case I can't get Reuniclus out. My opponent now plays a Tool Scrapper, which is kind of annoying since I won't be able to increase damage here. He's going to retreat into the Cobalion with more energy, and here he can actually hit me for 100 and then knockout, so I'll send up Beedrill, primarily because it has free retreat, but also because I can attack if I can get a healing card, which I can thanks to Skyla. I get a gold potion, heal off Beedrill, and then use Swift Sting here, poisoning and confusing my opponent once again. So here, he doesn't have Dusknoir out yet, but it looks like he is powering up a Klang. I'm not sure why. And he's just going to hit me for Righteous Edge for 30. I get an N, I will play that, and I get a rare candy and a Reuniclus. So now I can damage swap, and this is where the fun begins. So I will be able to move the damage onto Cresselia, and in between turns it'll be able to heal 10 off of itself, which is pretty cool. So unless your opponent can one-shot Beedrill, you can have a steady stream of damage and poison and confusion. So here I hit Cobalion, this time for the knockout, and my opponent is going to send up Dusknoir, so hopefully I can knock it out. And I take 2 prizes and tie this up. So going into my opponent's turn, he's going to play a Hypnotoxic Laser. Fortunately, I do not go to sleep. He benches a Cobalion, then plays a Juniper here. So finally a Klingklang goes out, and then a rare candy into Dusknoir. So just what I didn't want to happen. I don't have enough damage on my side of the field to knock anything out yet, but if he can get 90 damage, he can knock out Reuniclus, preventing me from healing. So we see a heavy ball, and it goes for a Klingklang. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's just trying to thin out his deck. And now he's actually using a Sinister Hand to move damage up to Beedrill to prevent me from attacking. So here I'm just going to play a level ball to thin my deck out and bring out a Solosis just because I want it out of there. I'm not actually going to play it down. I did evolve a Weedle into a Kakuna, and here I'm going to play an Escape Rope just to get out of the poison and see if I can send something else up on his side. I'm going to just a Super Rod here after playing an N, get some resources back into my deck, retreat from Weedle into Beedrill, and then finally use Damage Swap to clear off the damage from Beedrill, move it on to Cresselia, and rinse and repeat. So my opponent essentially is going to want to counter this strategy by using Sinister Hand to move things off of Cresselia. And now I can Swift Sting, once again poisoning and confusing my opponent. So going into my opponent's turn, he's going to Skyla here for an Ultra Ball. I'm not sure what he's trying to get at this point. And he goes actually for the regular non-EX Cobalion with Guard Press. And a Tropical Beach comes into play. So my opponent here might just want to Beach in order to refill his hand, since it's kind of has nothing going and he's still stuck. But he is playing a Sinister Hand to remove damage once again off of my Cresselia onto, it looks like, Weedle and other stuff on the bench, and actually a Beedrill in the active. So again, I can counter it easily at this point, but it's a wise move for him to make, just to prevent me from healing those measly 10 damage between turns. So here I'm going to just counter his move with Damage Swap, and I'm going to play a Chorus here. I'm sort of running low on cards, but I did want to play it here just to see if I can get another Beedrill if he's able to knock my active. I get a Weedle, I will bench it, and I will Swift Sting here for 60. Once again poisoning and confusing my opponent. My opponent here, going into his turn, is going to Super Rod 3 energy back into his deck and put down a Durant, and then play a Dowsing Machine for a Chorus. I'm drawing a full hand of 10 here. So now we see energy go on to the non-EX Cobalion. Cobalion EX is still in the active spot, but the one on the bench just got max potioned. He sends it up with a switch, and if he can get an energy attached, he will be able to do 30. But it looks like first he's going to Sinister Hand, moving damage up to Beedrill. Here I'm just going to attach to Weedle, damage swap off of Beedrill once again. I know this is getting kind of annoying. And I will Swift Sting for 60. And Cresselia heals in between turns. Into my opponent's turn, he's going to play Skyla here for an energy search. And here, probably going to attach to his benched Cobalion, since it seems to be his preferred attacker at this point. And he actually attaches to his active, tries to go for an attack, but ends up hurting himself due to confusion, so that's definitely good. I'm going to attach to Cresselia here, just in case I need to have another attacker, and just hit with Swift Sting and knock out Cobalion, taking 2 more prizes in the lead. So my opponent sends up non-EX Cobalion, so if he hits me with Iron Breaker, I can't actually attack him next turn, so that'll be problematic. He plays an N here and hits me with Iron Breaker, so I have to retreat to be able to do something. But first I do have to damage swap, and here I have 80 damage on board, which is just enough where I won't play that max potion. If I had 90, I would of course use it here, because he could actually damage swap all those damage counters onto Reuniclus and knock it out. That's sort of the downside of Reuniclus. It's very, very weak with at only 90 HP, but because of the catcher getting nerfed, it's a little bit more viable. So that takes a long time, even at increased speed. So here I'm just going to retreat, send up, I think, Weedle as a sacrifice, and just hit him, doing only 10 damage here, but it's some progress. Going into my opponent's turn, he can actually knock out something if he uses Sinister Hand, and it looks like he's going to do that. Moving damage up to my Weedle, he'll be able to take it out. If he does, I'll just send up the benched Weedle as another sacrifice, since I can afford to lose those 2 things, but I can't really afford to lose Kakuna. So 1 Weedle goes down, and I'm going to send up a second one. And if he is going to attack with his second attack, I will go down as well. Or this Weedle will go down as well. So he's once again moving damage around, this time spreading it out kind of evenly. And here he takes the second knockout. I send up Beedrill. I'm going to bench Tropius here, attach a Grass Energy. We'll be able to move that damage off of Beedrill once again. And I'm also going to move it off of Reuniclus. And just Swift Sting for 60. Leaving my opponent poisoned and confused. Here my opponent's going to play down Jirachi, which is going to allow him to get a supporter from his deck. Not sure which one it is, but it looks like he tries to attack me. He's able to bypass the confusion and hit me. So here I now have to once again damage swap. He's slowly building damage on my side of the field, but he may not realize that I have 2 max potions in hand, so I'm not all that concerned about him, especially since his deck doesn't really do splash damage. So here I'm going to move that damage off. I will be able to knock out Cobalion. And here, actually I have to retreat since he used his attack, preventing me from attacking, so I can't actually knock him out. So I have to send up Tropius, hit him with Return, which forces me to draw. But he ends me. And here he's going to use Sinister Hand to move damage around. He's just trying to prevent me from healing. Although at this point, I think his fate is sealed. It doesn't look like he has powered up anything that can one-shot me. So here he hits me for 80, but he goes down in between turns due to the poison. He sends up Cobalion that is heavily damaged, so I can actually take the knockout here, but I will need to heal off one of my Beedrills using damage swap. So I'm just going to retreat my Tropius, manually send up Beedrill, damage swap that damage off, and here I'll be able to take the knockout and the win using Swift Sting. I hope you guys enjoyed this match. I thought it was kind of interesting. I'd been wanting to play this build for quite a bit, but I don't really have 2 Reuniclus, so I was a little bit hesitant. And I'd also like to thank you guys for watching and subscribing.